We all want to bring the Zoom back into our golden oldies. Mr. Binks is 14, and he was born with a joint condition that we've managed over the years with his raw food diet, choice supplements, and physical therapies. But I'm thrilled to have added Zoomies long chain hyaluronic acid with added vitamin C simply into Mr. Binks's meals. Its role is being like a shock absorber in the synovial fluid. That's the natural joint oil found in hips, knees, and shoulders. It lets them glide rather than grind together and potentially causing pain. But the sad fact is, the body's HA production annoyingly depletes with age. And when his joints are sore, they break the HA down more quickly. Zumi has been created by vets, supporting all life stages and cats too. So find out more on my website, annawebb.co.uk, in the recommends page and redeem your discount. Hello, I'm Anna Webb, and welcome to this week's episode of A Dog's Life, where I'm chatting to Mary Mackerath all about her Telepathy Tails. And this episode is sponsored by Zoom. Mary Mackerath, welcome to A Dog's Life.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited about this because, well, a very long-standing family friend, shall we say, told me about your Instagram page. So I went on, obviously followed you, and I just love these journeys that you have with animals and everything. So where did this all begin, Mary?
So it's something I've always been able to do since a child. I've been a very extra sensory perceptual child, and I've always been able to hear animals, which is the clairaudient side of it. So, being able to hear what they want, or if a friend has a pet with an issue, I always knew where the pain was and what the diagnosis was really. So it kind of started really young. I grew up in the middle of nowhere in the countryside, had lots of pets, ferrets, ducks, greyhounds, everything you can imagine, really. So I've always had a really strong connection with animals, and it's something I've pursued later in life, yeah, as a career.
Well, gosh, I know you look very young, so I don't think it's later in life, Mary.
Well, I'm 34 now, and I feel like I've lived about 10 lives, so it's wild.
Oh gosh, well, don't worry, 34 is not old. Take it from me. I'm 61, so
Are you? Look
yeah.
amazing. Wow.
Oh, stop that. Oh no, I don't. But I do think animals keep you young, Mary. I think I'm loving all this, you're hearing animals. I mean, may I ask a question, like how did this no word, which is really important. How did you know the animals were, telling you things? I mean,
Yeah.
how did you know they were rather than you just thinking, oh, that's a bit strange, or, I'm not sure that just happened, or, how
Yeah.
did, mm,
Yeah, it's a really good question because I don't think that I did know. When I was a child, you kind of feel like everything's imaginary and that kind of thing. But I knew that by my animals' reactions when I'd ask them to come up to me and stuff, there was always that validation through them. When I went to school and I started talking to people about it, everybody said I was in Maryland and oh God, Mary's way with the fairies again and all this. I did. I did kind of not trust my abilities the whole way through school, and we get taught that if we can't see it and it's not tangible, then it's not real. So, when I left school and I went to university to study zoo biology and wildlife conservation, and every qualification I've done has been around animals. And then I went off traveling to Australia and South America and Asia, and went traveling for about 5 years after university. And when I was living in the Amazon, which is when I worked with the sloths in Merizonia, um, I mean, there's lots of different examples that I could give you, but I could hear, the rainforest talking back to me. I could hear the animals telling me what had happened in the past, why they were here, why they were rescues, and some really horrible abuse and things that they'd shown me. And yeah, as I got older and started to self-actualize, I realized that actually I thought everybody could do this. And that's a mistake that I made when I was younger, assuming that everybody could do it and everybody thought I was crazy. And then as I got older, I started looking into, the quantum physics side of it and energy and researching telepathy and everything spiritual, really. And I was like, yeah, this is the gifts that I have. And as a child, I had to wear an eye patch for about 6 years, and I had glasses on, and I had grommets in my ears. So because I'd lost those two senses, our extra sensory senses inside, all of our clairs, as we call it, they get just like any survival and evolutionary tactic, everything else gets stronger. So that's how I was able to feel their pains and hear their thoughts and things like that because I was an eye down and ears down. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because that's really interesting. I mean, look, I'm a massive fan of a scientist, or a paranormal scientist called Dr. Rupert Sheldrake. And when I read his book, well, he's written loads of books, but the one mainly about animals, I mean, a long time ago, it really vindicated me in many respects. This whole idea of communicating in real time, with animals, that they are trying to tell you something. For me, it was a moment I was on, oh gosh, which one is it? Dartmoor, I think, in the dark, terribly lost, really scared,
Oh wow.
not a great fan of, leaving the M25.
Yeah.
Going out of there, it's always a bit scary. That's an in joke. Yeah, and then Moles, my first miniature bull terrier, she was sat seat belted up on the front seat by me, my Mini, and she just looked out of the window, right, at nothing, right, in the dark, and then looked back at me, looked back out, looked back at me, and then she did this dramatic head turn to the back through the back window of the Mini, like, and then I just went, yeah, okay, I get it. We've got to turn around. Do you know?
Yeah.
And that was sort of one of my first. That's anyway. I've discussed this with Rupert actually, and because he also talks about this thing, the animals have this inbuilt sat nav,
Mhm.
a sense of direction. So
Yeah.
maybe we were by turning around heading back roughly towards London. um, but yeah, it was just this moment, okay, which
Yeah. It's
yeah.
amazing how they can sense danger and everything, really. And, that's you doing telepathy with your dog as well, the intuitive knowing, the claircognizance that something's wrong and we need to head back that way. And you're making that decision together. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. So that was, remarkable. And all these things, how dogs know when their owners are coming home. So, if dogs know when we're coming home, surely we should know when they're coming home. The thing is, they're normally at home. So they don't, it's not like
Yeah.
the incredible journey, but all of these, and Lassie come home and stuff, but all of these, great novels and films have come from something, haven't they? People
Yeah.
haven't just, yeah. Well, I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, 100%. I think that everybody deep down knows that, animals aren't just animals and they don't have thoughts and things like this. And, telepathy is the oldest form of communication. Before we could, before we developed language, telepathy was what we were using. And still many tribes across the world, the Aboriginals, Papua New Guinea tribes, African tribes, they use telepathy to track, their prey, so what they're hunting. So they'll put a hand in the footprint of a gazelle, for example, and they'll be able to intuitively know exactly where the gazelle is, just like how our dogs kind of know when we're coming home. It's a similar thing with our magnetic fields from our heart and that profound connection that we have with our pack members, I guess.
Yes, no,
Yeah.
100%. Well, I mean, with my first cat, Gremlin, I used to just think it happened by accident. One New Year's Eve, he got out, and I was so worried he was dead and being blown up, by fireworks.
Yeah.
And we stayed up, me and Moles, and we stayed up. And I got at this point, I remember getting a bit angry, a bit like, and I was just really thinking, Gremlin, just come home. Gremlin, where are you? Like, I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
where are you? Are you dead or are you not dead? And then, would you believe it? Clank, he'd been on for hours. Clank, clank through the cat flap, looking cool as like, yeah, I know it's a bit heavy out there, a few fireworks, but here I am. and it was this massive, massive relief. But it was then I was just thinking, hang on a minute. I was doing all that anger moment. And then I had this thing with these dolphins, right? In Kerala, where, oh God, we'd gone out to see dolphins, and the boat driver had said, you're not going to see any dolphins now. It's totally the wrong time of day. They're asleep now. It was getting, it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and everything goes
Yeah.
dark at 5. So, and anyway, so we'd been out for about 30 minutes, no dolphins. I'm absolutely furious because it was kind of my friend's fault we were so late getting into this boat. So again, it's this anger I have when it's so mad. I was just annoyed, it was my one
Yeah.
chance to see some wild dolphins. So we're heading back. He goes, we've got to go back now. We've got to go back now. So I was even in a heavier mood. And I just was thinking in the front of the seat, I was going, you must be in there because you
Yeah.
don't have legs. You must be in there because you can't be on land. I remember thinking this, seriously, Mary. And then,
That's
oh
awesome.
my God, this huge dolphin came out of nowhere. It did one of those massive leaps, but we were in a really small boat. It's
Oh,
huge, the
wow.
dolphin, huge. And then the driver cut the engine, and we were just, and then he couldn't believe it, and he'd lived there all his life. So, and then two more came, and one came right beside me. Below, I stroked him. I nearly got in the
Oh,
water.
wow. That's amazing.
And I know it was probably my most amazing experience I've ever had in my life.
And do you know what? You ask them to come out. That is what you can do with dolphins and whales. You ask them to show themselves. And by breaching in the air, that's them showing off, like, I'm here. You
Oh, I
summoned
know.
me.
And then the one that came up first did this kind of crazy vertical upright
Oh,
move,
wow.
as if, going, but, kind of going, bye, bye. It was, and then went straight down again. And then the others followed him off. Oh,
Oh,
her,
wow.
might have been her. So yeah, so anyway, I mean, so and then later I read Rupert Sheldrake and all of that. So that's why we're chatting, really, because I do find this really fascinating. I mean, lots of people might think it's completely nuts, but sometimes with my own pets, I mean, as I say, well, the telepathic recall with my cat goes on today with my
Mhm.
next cat. When anything else fails, like shaking the dreamies in a bag in a garden, and that doesn't work, which then it will just be, Bags, can you just hurry up and come home now, please? Come
Yeah.
home. And then he's there doing his tomcat yowl, yodel, yodel, yodel. I'm here, yodel. Anyway, so, so yeah, so I mean, gosh, I love the fact you've worked in the Amazon. That must have been amazing. Explain a bit more what, being in the Amazon can do.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. I worked at this Merizonia wildlife sanctuary. So they're taking any animals that are native to the Amazon rainforest, and most of them had been sold on the illegal pet trade, which is really awful. So the Ecuadorian police would confiscate them and then bring them to us. And if they were young enough, we could teach them how to. We had like soft and hard release enclosures there. So it's obviously deep in the Amazon. So the smaller enclosures are getting them used to like eating fruit again and the natural foods. Unfortunately, a lot of the monkeys there that would come in, we couldn't release because they'd lived a whole life of eating like candy and sweets and cake, and the teeth were all rotten. So, teaching a lot of the monkeys how to like crack a nut and peel fruit, which they'd never done. Um, and then, some of the younger animals that could be released back into the wild, they go into the huge enclosures and gradually get integrated back into the wild. So yeah, there was sloths there. There's kinkajous. One of the kinkajous there showed me nobody knew what had happened to it, and I went to feed him every night, and he showed me him getting this really horrible, like hit in the face with a boiling hot frying pan, and that's why his face was all deformed. And there's all this like this is what they show me, and it's like a knowing in me. It's like I know that 100% happened, and now I do these readings. Obviously, I get all the validation and the feedback from the owners. But yeah, so it was amazing. I mean, there's a mountain lion there that had to stay there forever. That was kept in the 90s in a hostel in Bolivia as a little cub, and the hostel kept it at the front, and they'd try and get tourists in, and it was really aggressive. It had human aggression, so like they couldn't release it. It had a huge enclosure, but if they'd released this mountain lion, it'd just come back and kill everybody because of the trauma that it's been subject to from such an early age. Um, so yeah, it's an amazing place. It really is such an amazing sanctuary to go and work at, volunteer at, and they do beautiful stuff. Yeah.
Oh wow, gosh, I'm so jealous. I would have loved to have done something like that. So when did you kind of start, reaching out, to pet parents and, helping them with, behavioral issues with their dogs? They might be feeling a bit weird or, as you said earlier, finding out that they may actually have have a bit of a problem, like maybe the start of kidney issues or,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, like I said, I've kind of done it all my life, and then friends have taken their pets to the vets, and the vets have confirmed that it's kind of exactly what I said. But I started, well, I was an animal sciences teacher at an agricultural college in Yorkshire for 7 years. So we had a big kind of zoo on site. So we had lemurs, monkeys, otters. We had a zoo license. So I would teach the students the qualifications for either going into veterinary or zoo work or anything to do with animals. So there was a lot of animal teachers there. We had an equine facility, which is all the horsey people, butchers. It was all at a land-based college. So that's kind of where it began. People would be like, Mary, I know that you've got this weird intuition thing going on, but can you come and look at my horse? And then all these teachers were coming to me, even though they were very like analytical brained, they didn't really believe in it. But most people are at their absolute wits' end. They spend tens of thousands of pounds at vets, especially with horses. They're not getting anywhere. And then I would come round to the house, I'd, do readings with the horses in the yard or the dogs or the rabbits or whatever. And, everybody's just like blown away. I've not really done a reading yet where I've ever heard that any of it's wrong. So yeah, that's kind of where it started. And then I thought, gosh, I'm actually this everything that I thought as a child is true. Like I can feel and hear and see, and they show me visions from the past, which is linked to why they have certain behaviors now. So that's kind of where it all started. I started doing it professionally about 3 years ago, and then launched the Telepathy Tails only just over a year ago, to be honest, and it's just blew up. It's great.
Oh, no, it's amazing. So have you been out in New York doing stuff as well, Mary?
Not in New York. No, I taught at a college in York, so maybe
Oh,
that's that. Yeah.
so everyone's in England that you've been seeing.
So I do most of my readings remotely. So I do them for people worldwide. So last night I did somebody in Australia, the night before New Zealand. Then I had my course the other day. I had people from Uruguay, France, America. It's amazing. Yeah. So I do most of my readings. If I'm not meeting the animal in person, I just need a photo of the animal with their eyes open and clearing, and the eyes are the gateway to the soul. So I wrap my auric field around that, and I have my own visualization techniques and wrap it around the photo of the animal, stare into their eyes, and cast over the question telepathically, and they show me in whatever way that they communicate with.
That's amazing. So what, you get pictures or um
Yes. So I always say like they're a bit like us animals, every pet is so individual and most of them are mirroring their owner. So if their owner is quite extrovert and chatty, they'll be very clairaudient. I'll hear them like full sentences. Um, Horses often use a lot of clairvoyance, which is the imagery, the visions, the memories. So I see it like a little mini movie. Um, some cats and dogs will show me a lot of clairgustance, which is the tasting, which isn't always fun. So cats have shown me them catching birds and dogs eating gross fishy things off the beach, and I taste it. And but some of this, has got down to the bottom of their illnesses and things like this. And the owner's like, "Oh my God, yeah, that's the day we had to take her to the vets because she ate this there's like a sea urchin on the beach, and the dog showed me this." And yeah, so they all communicate in totally different ways, and it's usually a mixture of all of it, a bit of clairaudience, and then I'll ask them to show me, if their owner wants to know about the past, they'll show me the environment sometimes, the energy of the environment, the people there, how they've been treated, and I have to kind of decipher it. It comes through so fast because they're so high vibrational. So I write everything down, describe it as well as I can to the owner over the Zoom call or the phone call, and yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, I guess with a rescue pet, where you have no idea their background, I mean, it could help explain a lot and help, navigate a strong pathway forward for everyone, right?
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes it can be something as simple as just taking something out the environment, like a cat having trauma from not liking work boots, for example, and being subject to a traumatic past and abuse with somebody that would come into the house and wear work boots every day. And it's just something as simple as that. So the new owner would then remove these, Timberland boots, and then the cat's happy again and it's not leaving every day. And sometimes it can just be something so small in the environment that triggers them. So yeah, definitely, it really does help get an all-round understanding for everybody.
Yeah, no, amazing. I've joined the Rawvolution at Naturaw because I know that not all raw food is created equal. I'm passionate about feeding dogs as nature intended. After all, you are what you eat, and so is your dog. At Naturaw, there are no compromises, no confusion, just real raw food made with integrity and a conscience, offering 100% transparency, supporting British farmers, and only using the highest welfare assured ingredients is so important. They're a certified B Corp and reduce their carbon footprint by utilizing solar power and planting trees. They only use completely plastic-free packaging that's home compostable. Prudence and Mr. Binks are simply loving their nutrient-dense and balanced recipes. So try Naturaw today. Just go to naturaw.co.uk and grab 20% off your first purchase with my code AnnaWebb20. Join the Rawvolution and feed exceptional raw food. I saw this lovely Bernese mountain dog on your Instagram. I
Oh
think she
yeah,
was
Belle.
Belle. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that looks so lovely. I mean, she was obviously very hesitant, but you seem to really win her round. But it must be hard putting all of this into Instagram. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of so different.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really beautiful that reading, and the owners were in their 80s, so they were at the wits end with her. They didn't know what to do, but they didn't really believe in this stuff. They were quite skeptical, but Belle showed me that her mum broke a leg, and her mum said, "Oh my God, how do you know that? I had to have 5 pins in my leg." And she showed me that it was from when she fell off the horse, and they were mind blown. And she showed me them feeding her quavers all night, and they were like, "Quavers are the only crisp we feed her and have in the house." And yeah, so that was really beautiful. And I went back to see them. About 3 months ago now, and they let me stay over in the cottage, and Belle was so excited to see me. It was really sweet.
Oh, and is she doing all right, Belle?
Yeah, so the main thing was they wanted to be able to go out to the pub and go for walks with her, because she puts the halts on whenever she gets like close to outside the land. And it's sad really. She's a bit institutionalized from what she went through before. When she would try and escape at the other home she was at, the man would repeatedly hit her with what looked like a polypipe type thing. So she was kind of too scared to go off this land, and she developed this huge trauma block. So yeah, they're able to walk her kind of a little bit out of their huge farm, and go up the streets and stuff, and they can get her in the car now, which is amazing, which is like really big developments compared to before. And sometimes she wouldn't even go up the drive, but she was so excited to see me. It was like a different dog. Yeah.
Oh, that's so rewarding, isn't it? I know. I mean, I love helping people with their dogs as well, with training on
Yeah.
nutrition and stuff like that. But yeah, that's so interesting that you picked up on all of that. So obviously her owner can't really walk that well if she had 5 pins in her leg. Maybe that's got something, or was that the dog? Sorry, I got confused there.
No, yeah, yeah. So the owner she does have the 5 pins in her leg, and I mean, I've not seen her limping or anything, but she was going like, "Have you seen me limping?" You know, she was questioning everything like we do with our analytical brain. But they still do. They're still quite, fit and healthy for their ages. So they have a whole farm to run between them. So they are, going on walks and stuff quite regularly, but. Belle just said to me she's not really bothered about that. The farm is so big and she's just happy to stay on the farm. She feels really comfortable and safe there. But at least she's getting in the car now, which she wouldn't do before if they want to go on a holiday or something. So that's amazing.
No, that's so great. It's really helped everyone, not least Belle. That's great. What about if you get presented with, a multi-pet home? Would you do a reading, say, 3 cats, for example?
Mhm.
Would you focus on one cat and then do each separately, I think, or would you do them all together? I mean, that get confusing.
Yeah, so so I do
Can you
do the
imagine? It'd be brilliant, actually. It'd be like a cat scrap in your head.
Literally, they all start chipping in, and I can feel that it's a different energy coming in. And I'm like, okay, wait up, guys. So this is, yeah, really important thing. If I'm doing more than one pets in the home, I have to kind of, like you say, dedicate an hour to one animal in one room, and then move on to the next one. And even then, if there's another cat that is more vocal and wants to get the point across, they'll keep chipping in and they'll say something and I'll be like, I know that that's not you, the cat I'm sat with, it's the cat in the other room. So I do have to ask them to wait their turn. Yeah.
Gosh, that's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Because
Yeah.
cats can be tricky, can't they, in multi-cat homes? I mean, I've never tried to have more than one cat at a time, actually, just because well, with both of them, I've got bags. My current cat, who's a stray that landed on my doorstep, unknown provenance. I mean, maybe, Mary, I would love to know more about what happened to
Mm,
Bags.
yeah,
He might
sure.
be, he might be a candidate to see what he thinks of the dogs, what he thinks. Because I've only had him 3 years, and vets reckon he was either 7 or 9 3 years ago. So that makes him either 10 or 12. So he's not young, and
Yeah.
most of his life, well, who knows? Who knows? He was
Well, I'm happy to. If you want to send me a couple of pictures of his face with his eyes nice and clearing,
mm,
and yeah, I can. We can either do another call and we can go through it all the notes, which is what I usually do with the reading, or I can voice note you it all over, and I always send pictures of the notes as well, so you've got them there. But yeah, it's really good to just know about their past, and it makes your connection so much stronger because they feel so heard and understood, and now you understand why they are the animal they are today, type thing. So
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. I mean, I think what you're doing is so amazing and tapping in, to this energy level that, I know Rupert always says, like you said at the beginning, telepathy was something we all had, but bit by bit, like humans, but bit by bit with, modernization, and now we've got all the technology, it's just gone, or it's so back in our brains that maybe we can't bring it to the fore again. I don't know. What do you think?
yeah, I genuinely believe that every vertebrate, so every animal and human, with a back, well, not even vertebrates, everything has the ability to use telepathy. But I do believe that all humans can do it. Um, I believe belief is a lot of it. Like just with anything, if you believe you can do something, you can do it. But it's about kind of, we've had a lifetime of indoctrination and programming to believe that this stuff isn't real. So when we have the left hand side of the brain, which is the logical analytical brain, and then we have the right side of the brain, which is the intuitive, the spiritually gifted side of the brain. And the way that the brain works is all the messages, they pass always through the logical side. So we always want to second guess everything. We want an explanation for everything. But um, it is just trusting this stuff and practicing it. But yeah, everybody can do it. It is, like I say, an evolved survival technique. All animals are doing it. We're doing it with our pets anyway. We're doing it with our best friends. We're doing it with our loved ones. We just don't realize we're doing it because we think it's our own thoughts.
Yeah, yeah, it is interesting, actually. It's so interesting. I
Mm.
forget, I was debating whether to ring up this journalist, which, was always a big thing. It was a top journalist, big paper and everything. It was when I was working on Medical Detection Dogs, the charity, because I
Oh,
launched them
amazing.
back in the day. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And there was this placement hanging on this particular, and then suddenly it was we had old-fashioned phones then, right? That was still really normal. And then so the phone rang, right? And I thought, I really want you to, I won't mention it. I really want this to be so and so, so and so. So I went, hello, Anna Webb speaking. And she went, hello, it's, it's me. And I was like, good Lord. I was like, hang on, that's mad because A, journalists never ring you back. B, but it was a big story and it ran.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I remember Moles was beside me on her bed, and I just looked down at Moles while I'm talking away, and she's looking up and she's doing one of those fast wags. It's like happy wag, and it was like
Proud of my mama.
it's like, well done, you're speaking to her at last. It was a really weird moment. But so having this conversation, I was bringing up all my weird moments of my life.
I
But I
love
don't think they're weird. I think these
it.
moments are the most least weird. Do you know what I mean?
100%. It's just natural. It's what we call supernatural. It is supernatural. It's more natural than anything else. It is innate within us. And yeah, it's our God-given right. And I do think with stuff like that, our pets can help us manifest our dreams. I genuinely believe that because they have such big magnetic fields. And like you thinking about that journalist, for example, I believe if you, and there's a lot of neuroscience to back this, if you hold a thought for 17 seconds, whether it be good or bad, it manifests. So if you are thinking of somebody that you want to call you and you want this opportunity, and you're thinking of them heavily for a prolonged amount of time, they're going to get that telepathic message, start thinking about you, and then prompt them to contact you. So yeah, pets can do this too because they see our pets see our thoughts, they see our memories, everything we've been through as a child. They feel it all. They see what we're watching, what we're scrolling on. So yeah, they experience it all too.
Yeah, how can they see that we're scrolling?
So, I mean, a lot of cats have shown me this, and I'm not sure how dogs perceive it exactly, but cats can have shown me a lot of times they are really good at astral travel, remote viewing, so they can see through their owner's eyes a lot of the time, especially if they are, out for the day, or if they're sleeping in the dream state. They're really, really powerful. They show me if their mum or their dads are at work or on holiday, they're just watching them from like a bird's eye view from like the top of the roof, or it's
Mm.
crazy. So yeah, with people scrolling on the phones and things, cats and dogs will often show me if their mum's watched something on the phone that has like, sparked their interest, or, if you're even browsing, say if you're browsing for something that you want, like a piece of furniture and or I don't know, any kind of product, and you're looking and you're thinking about buying it, your dog or your cat can feel and experience like your thought pattern. So they see the image in their, in their pineal gland, in their brain, and they will often show me that. So they'll show me what their mum's been looking at buying, for example, and I'll draw it, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, how do they even know?" But if you're scrolling, because we spend a lot of time on our phones, so our animals are like, "What are you looking at on there?" And if you're browsing and shopping for things, and yeah, so that's kind of how it works in a way.
It's so interesting. I do believe that eyes are the windows of the soul for
Mm,
sure. Very much, I say, a Dr. Rupert fan, because dogs
yeah.
that know, didn't change my life. I think I've sort of thought that was already the case, but it was just so interesting to read about it
Mm.
and the countless, people that have done it. And again, with the telepathy. I mean, I was going to do an experiment for Rupert with Gremlin, my
Mhm.
my my cat that passed. Actually, I mean, gosh, maybe Mary, could you?
Yeah.
Can you really? Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
might
I
cry
speak
in a
to
minute.
pets in
Oh my
spirit as
gosh.
well.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh. Right. Okay. Obviously, I'm going to pay full price and all the rest of it. Um, I would really like to do that. Um,
definitely, darling. Yeah.
yeah, because he had I won't tell you about his death, but it was really, really bad, not normal.
Yeah, don't tell me
No,
anything, and
no.
that's better for
Okay.
me because I get
Uh,
a full
yeah.
picture then.
Okay. Great. Oh gosh, Mary, amazing. So, gosh, so well, first of all, oh gosh, because the owl, please just quickly explain, because I've watched on Instagram, which is an amazing Instagram feed, actually. I could watch it all day.
Oh, bless you,
You're
thank
very clever. It's very good. So it's, I don't mean clever, haha. I mean clever. You get the moment across that you've
Oh,
shared with the
thank
animals and the
you.
people, and I find it really interesting.
Oh.
But your little owlet, how
Peach.
did that come about? So you have a pet owl, is that right?
Yeah, so Peach came into my life just over 3 years ago now, and at the time I lived in Hull, and this is before I was still doing animal communication, but just for friends and family and people who suggested me to other people. So I had a business called Animal Mindset, and I would bring my whippets and my Sphinx cat Morris and my owl and cockroaches and my little snake, and I would take them around schools and work mostly with SEND children, autistic children, and adults, and I'd teach about the healing powers of animals and how they calm our nervous system down, and I'd teach about the species themselves. So, because I worked at this animal college for such a long time, and we would take in lots of rescues into the zoo park that we had there, and donation animals, what they'd call it, from other rescue centres and things. So people were always coming to me like, Mary, if Bishop Burton the college was full, they'd be like, can you take this home? Can you take this home? And I would often get animals because I know so many animal lovers. I would get them homes. And anyway, somebody came to me about Peach and said, there's this owl down south, and they think it's got a dodgy wing, and she was born at like a bird of prey centre, but it was something to do with the incubation rates. The weather had been rubbish, so her right wing hadn't formed properly. So they were like, we can't do anything with her because we can't fly her, and they wanted to train her up for falconry. And if they've got a dodgy wing, they can't carry prey and do all the stuff. So I was like, well, she can come be a therapy owl with me and come into schools. And so yeah, built her a huge enclosure in my garden, and then I converted my outhouse, which ran across the side of like my semi-detached house, into a big owl enclosure. So she had like the indoor owl enclosure and the outdoor, and I'd bring her in the conservatory, and we'd have movie nights. And yeah, so she's a South American chaca owl, which is basically like a tawny owl from Peru and Uruguay and that side of the world. And I hand raised her from about 5 weeks, so she was just a little ball of fluff. And at that point, their talons aren't working, and they don't have any wings, so they really struggle to kind of stand up. Their heads are so heavy that they just
Oh,
face plant the floor. It's really cute. Um, so yeah, she imprinted on me. She thinks that I'm her mum, and she's my absolute baby. I love her so much. So yeah, when I went off traveling in my motorhome, I would have her outside on her perch, and was traveling around with her and things. But then I think you probably saw about the motorhome, like all of these issues and all the damp. I've been sold a really dodgy one. So
I know that was awful.
yeah.
Has that all got sorted now?
Yeah, so I'm looking for another van now. Like all of my followers, just it's unbelievable the support that everybody gave me and the donations raised on my GoFundMe. So yeah, I'm just looking for another van now. And Peach is currently in Glastonbury Owl Sanctuary with an amazing lady called Michelle, who I was just speaking to yesterday. And I'm going to head down and see Peach in a couple of weeks and stay with them again. And yeah, I'm just looking for some more permanent accommodation until I find a van, and then going to get Peach back with me. And yeah.
Oh wow, gosh. Oh wow. I mean, oh, it sounds sounds amazing. I would love to come in the van, actually. I could read the map.
Yes, the animal mobile.
Yeah. Um, oh, and then you've got whippets, haven't you? Bring it all back to dogs. Yeah. So many people. I've known loads of whippets. I mean, I love them. I love them. They're not. Everyone's got their certain idea of their perfect dog, haven't they? You know. And I know
Yeah.
whippet people go, but Anna, no, the whippet is the perfect dog. You know. So why would you say the whippet is the perfect dog?
Well, I think it's like subjective to everybody, isn't it? Like what their perfect dog would be. But for me, I do think that they are the easiest dog. I mean, they're lazy. I mean, I walk mine quite a lot, but because I love being in nature. But like one walk a day sometimes, and they're happy to just sleep the rest of the time. They don't really have a scent, so they don't really, like they're not really oily or smelly dogs. They don't shed much, so there's not lots of fur around. There's no grooming involved. They obviously do have a high prey drive, but at the same time, I've always had ex-racing greyhounds, brought them up with ducks, ferrets, rabbits walking all over them, and another part of telepathy and all this connectedness is that animals are very aware if a pet is in the home that they're not going to kill it type thing. So it's a part of the family. So the prey drive can be a bit of an issue with recall and stuff with some people, but mine are amazing. They've never ran off after anything or but yeah, I just love whippets. I mean, the main thing is that they are just such heart-centered, like beady little eyes. They're just therapy on four legs. They just look at you and they're so affectionate, and they just want cuddles all the time. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you're a good dog mum, definitely. By the
oh,
sounds, no, I do. I agree on the grooming side. I'm very much a smooth coat
I love
person.
bull terriers as well. So you've
Oh,
got
but
like my
yeah.
second favorite breed.
Yeah, no, they're brilliant. They're mad. They're a one-off. There really isn't any other. I've trained lots of different types. I mean, bull terriers. They are. You ask them to go right, and then they just automatically will go left. Because that's just what they're pre-programmed to do.
Yeah.
The opposite of what you want them to do. But that's what makes them not only a
Yeah,
challenge, but just so funny. They're so funny.
they are.
Yeah, and I've got Mr. Binks. He's a toy terrier. He's 14. I know, I know. I
Was he
need to know.
14? He looks amazing for his age. I think, was it his
Really?
birthday? Oh no, it was your other terrier's birthday.
Yeah, no, it was Prue's birthday, yeah, the other day, and Binks's birthday is February. So yeah, he's looking good though I mean, he is. I mean, he is 14
Yeah.
and a half. Um,
Amazing.
yeah, yeah. I mean, small dogs are supposed to live longer. So fingers crossed. Yeah, all these grass seeds this summer because of the extra
Mm,
dryness, I think have been a big problem actually for lots of
yeah,
people. Is my big guess here. So
yeah.
at the moment, we just can't, it's too risky. It's so dry where I am. And the grass seeds, they're still as spiky and,
Mm,
everything as ever because there hasn't been any rain to damp them down.
yeah, yeah,
So that's my main thing with Binks. I just think he's got a grass seed in his body somewhere.
yeah,
I'm generally right though, Mary. This is the other thing.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
I'm generally right. I was right with Gremlin. I was right with Prudence when before she was rushed for huge emergency surgery
Yeah.
and things like that.
And that's the thing, you will be so tuned in, Anna, because you've worked with dogs your whole life. You've got, a house of animals, and you, like you say, you just know when something's wrong with your pet because you're like one consciousness together. You spend every second together, don't you? So yeah.
Yeah, as much like absolutely. So yeah, no, it's also interesting. So Mary, have you met Rupert? Because I'm sure Rupert would love to meet you.
Oh, honestly, it's one of my biggest dreams. I'm actually working with his research assistant at the moment. I haven't met Rupert. I have asked her if I can speak to him because I absolutely idolize him. Like yeah, reading his books. I've read a few of his books. I think I'm reading Morphic Resonance at the moment. I can't remember
Right.
the name of it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So Pamela, is it Pamela, his assistant?
Um, no, this lady's not called Pamela, but I think he has a few. I can't remember her name now. Um, but she's basically, I'm working with her. on like case studies of all the cats that I'm doing readings with. And they've obviously got their famous study on like what we were just speaking about with dogs sensing when their owners are coming home. And they want to know how cats do this. So, you know, how different it is from cats and dogs. So I'm kind of I'm sending them over pages and pages of notes and my readings from what they show me. And generally cats show me that it seems to be more astral travel wise, that in their sleep they see their owners, rather than, it seems more like the dogs feel them more in the magnetic field, and you know, they get that intuitive sense in the body that, you know, they're coming home now. And you know, when the car breaks down and some of the research that he does and they have to go back in the office, for example, and then the dogs go sit down, but cats actually fully see their owners where they are and everything like that. And yeah, it's really interesting.
It is interesting, actually. So interesting. Oh, I love that. Well, look, keep me posted.
Yes, I will do.
And you know, we can always do a whole episode on cats, you know, and their astral paths.
Yeah.
Because isn't it funny, when cats are asleep, they will open one eye, but it's like, are they seeing through that eye that then opens? Because they are actually totally asleep. Bags did it this morning and his eyes opened. So he's like semi-conscious, but
Yeah.
you know, but he didn't move. I mean, he was like so still, but one eye.
Just checking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Mary, look, so all the links are going to be in the show notes and everything. So when are you going to come to London?
Well, I'm thinking that I might be in London around October, November time. So I'm heading to Devon for August, and I've got lots of followers in Devon that want me to come see the horses and the doggies. So, and then I'm going to go to Cornwall, and then yeah, I think London might be towards the end of the year because I've got lots of people there that want me to come see their animals too. So yeah, I'll come see you guys.
I would love that. God, you'd be more than welcome. It would be fantastic. And let's definitely be in touch as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Gremlin.
Yeah, definitely.
That would be amazing. Well, Mary, look, thanks so much for having this great chat. I've absolutely loved every second of it.
Oh, me too, Anna. And thank you for all the work you do. I absolutely love watching your feed as well. And I just
Oh,
think you're amazing. So, yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
that's our show, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go on, rate and review the show wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks again, of course, to Mary for joining us, and all the links are in the show notes. Thanks to Mike, my producer, for all the music and production, as ever. And if you're interested in finding out more about Zumi or Naturaw, simply go to my recommends page on my website, which is just annawebb.co.uk. And if you haven't already, subscribe. It's free. So that way you'll never miss another show. Bye for now.